This talk, a very short talk, is about sexuality as a unifying factor within us. First of all, before we understand this topic, I just want to say that sexuality has within it a very special, unique, marvellous power, and that is to bring wholeness to our life, or either to bring separation, division, disintegration to our life. The sexual force above everything is a creative force, a powerful creative force, or on the other hand, a very powerful destructive force. It all depends how it is used. Really, we can describe the sexual force as a knife. One that frees, unifies, creates, or one that cuts, separates, divides, wounds, enslaves and hurts. So the sexual force is marvellous because it is dual. It expresses the duality in life absolutely perfectly. It polarizes always into two. That is why we have male and female, all owing to the duality of the sexual force, or the creative force within the universe, and therefore also within the human being. So if we're able to use sexuality, the end result will be a sort of union, a sort of connection between us and something else. Because that's what sex does, it unites, it connects. So if we're using the sexual force or sexuality in an internal supra way, that special energy, that special force will unite us, will work within us, harmonizing, balancing and uniting the various interior parts of our being within us. And it will create links between the various parts of our being. It will create connection, and it will give the person an overall feeling of wholeness, of completion. And with that comes peace, comes real happiness. But if we use sex wrongly, in a way just dedicated only to the senses, to pleasure of the senses, sensations, focused outside of ourselves, then we will bring sort of like a division, a separation, an enslavement, a outward focusing, an outward yearning into our life. And if that develops more, that sexual force can take us out of the pattern or the line or the flow of our life. Really, sexual force out of control or used in the wrong way brings division to our life, and division always brings conflict, pain, suffering, always. So, for example, a person who commits adultery, that sexual force basically, it's a sexual force perhaps with very powerful emotional reasons, but ultimately it's the sexual force that does it, and it is, a sexual act, a sexual thing. So the person who commits adultery leaves, breaks with the line of their life, and goes into developing a second life, perhaps a secret life to the wife or to the husband that they're leaving behind. And that second life, when found out, ruins the good life that the person had, ends in divorce, selling all your things, breaking relationships with family, children, etc. Real disaster. All because of the wrong use of the sexual force. It's terribly powerful, terribly dynamic and volatile is the sexual force. But in it is the power to connect, or the power to disconnect. So lust is really like the wrong use of the sexual force, the use of the sexual force in the negative way, in the disintegrating, separating, dividing way, the way that creates like a second life, that then spirals out of control. The guy who's always committing adultery is really creating a second life, a third life, a fourth life. And then, probably that's destroying him inside of him. But then when it's made public, he's definitely destroyed then. You know, always unity brings happiness. Just one life, or one clear relationship, that's happiness. And the sexual force can definitely create that for us, maintain it, and enhance it and dignify it. Or it can destroy everything. So it's up to us to choose. I choose unity, completion, peace, wholeness. At least peace. And the other way is too stressful. It may gives you big pleasure of the sensations, but all of that is short-lived, a few minutes, and then there's hours and hours of anguish, pain, anxiety. The worst thing is that, like, the loss of your one life, even the loss of your identity. You have so many aspects, so many lives, that you all of a sudden lose yourself. You don't know really what you are anymore. Am I this life or am I that life? Become a terrible two-faced hypocrite. Okay, so I'm being very honest in this video. Okay, anyway, think about it. And the sexual force is very powerful. It's one of its characteristics. Okay, I hope this video has been of some use, some motivation. And thank you very much for watching. Okay, see ya.